Welcome back to the channel, Jcfigz here, and today we're going to review the WWE Elite Series 105, first time in the line, Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner action figure. As always, let's go ahead and kick things off with a box art. On the front of the box it says Series 105 Scott Steiner, first time in the line. True FX, lifelike details. You have a nice image of Scott Steiner there on the front of the box. Then of course you can see the figure inside of his plastic prison in the center. On the left side of the box it says first time in the line again, WWE Elite Collection. Certified authentic. You have the WWE holographic sticker there. Scott Steiner, Series 105 on the back. Scott Steiner again, we have the stats from Detroit, Michigan, height 6'1", weight 276 pounds, finisher, the Steiner recliner, and there's a nice description there at the bottom. The Big Bad Booty Daddy has a shout out for all his freaks out there. Big Papa Pump is your hookup, holla if you hear me. Career highlights: WWE Tag Team Champion, WCW Champion, WCW United States Champion. And then you can see all the other figures that are included in this series. On the right side of the box is another image of Scott Steiner again, and it says Series 105 again. Now let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open, take a closer look at Mattel's first ever Scott Steiner figure. Okay, so this is the Scott Steiner attire from his 2002 WWE return. Unfortunately, it's not the NWO WCW Scott Steiner, but it's still a cool attire to have. I'm really not complaining at all. And right out of the box, he looks really good. He comes with chainmail on his head. Of course, the chainmail is removable. He also has a pair of black sunglasses, and he comes with a pair of extra hands. The hands are slightly open so he can hold an accessory, object, microphone, chair, what have you. The detailing on his head are really good. He has the blonde hair and the blonde goatee with a black stripe down the center of his goatee, and that looks really good. The face scan looks great. The likeness is definitely there, and then the body just looks absolutely jacked. He has giant bicep peaks. He has red tights on with designs on both sides of the tights with an S in the center of those designs. Also circles at the top of his tights on the left and right side, and then it says Freakzilla in silver on the back of his tights. He has black boots on with black laces and no designs on those boots. He has typical Elite articulation. The head can spin all the way around, look down and back up. The shoulder joints move all the way around and go outwards and back inwards. He has a bicep swivel at the top, double jointed pinless elbows. He has the Elite torso cut in the center so he can bend down and back up as well. However, it is very stiff, but there we go, we got it going there. The waist can spin all the way around. He can do the splits sideways and front ways. There is a thigh cut at the top so you can spin the thigh. Double jointed pinless knees as well. Then the shins can spin also. We have foot articulation where the foot can bend down, or ankle articulation and back up. No toe cuts though on this figure because it is the Elite version and not an Ultimate Edition. Now it is very unfortunate that we did not get the WCW Nitro crowdfunding Scott Steiner, but hopefully we see an attire similar to that one very soon. Now let's go ahead and do some comparisons with older Scott Steiner figures and scale comparisons with some other WWE Elite figures. Alright, so here's a few comparisons, and on the right I just figured I would throw in the WWE Elite 104 Rick Steiner. That is my Elite figure of the year. I believe that is the best one that Mattel made in 2023. On the left side we have Lex Luger, just to give you a body comparison, and in real life Lex Luger is 6'3", Scott Steiner is 6'1", and in figure form you can see that Lex Luger is just slightly bit taller than Scott Steiner, and Scott Steiner is just slightly bit taller than Rick Steiner. So overall the scaling is pretty accurate here. The only thing I don't like about Scott Steiner's body type is it looks like he just skips leg day every day for his entire life. Absolutely no quads whatsoever. Other than that though, the Scott Steiner figure is very well done. You can also see the size comparison in Scott Steiner's arms and Lex Luger's arms. Lex Luger was a pretty big dude back in the WCW days, but obviously Scott Steiner was just on a whole nother level. And just one more scale comparison here. On the very right we have the early Elite Giant figure, and the Giant in real life I believe is 6'11". Then on the left side we have the WWE NWO Kevin Nash, and I believe Kevin Nash is like 6'10", so not that much shorter than the Giant, but obviously both of these guys are much larger than Scott Steiner, and you can see that well here. And even with the Giant's big arms, they're still nowhere near the size of Scott Steiner's. However, the Giant does have Scott Steiner beat in the legs, that's for sure. Now let's take a look back at some of Scott Steiner's earlier figures. Okay, so on the right side we have the Toy Biz WCW NWO Ring Fighter Scott Steiner figure, and the attire on that figure is one that I would love for Mattel to make. You have the white singlet, it says NWO in the center of the star on that singlet. He of course has the blonde hair, blonde goatee, black sunglasses, and he's just absolutely ripped. On the left side we have the WCW Galoob Scott Steiner figure, and I know a lot of the old heads, the 80s and early 90s guys really want the old school Scott Steiner and Rick Steiner tag team figures from Mattel, and I'm sure we'll be getting that either in 2024 or 2025 as a 2-pack or a Ringside Collectibles exclusive. But for me, I'm more of a mid to late 90s guy, early 2000s, so this Scott Steiner figure from Mattel is awesome. Having said that, like I mentioned earlier, I would absolutely love to get an NWO attire Scott Steiner figure as well, hopefully in Ultimate Edition form. Now there are a bunch of different variations of the WCW Toy Biz Scott Steiner figure from the late 90s that you can find, and they are relatively cheap. Of course, the articulation is nowhere near as good as the Mattel figures, but the card from those late 90s WCW Toy Biz figs are amazing. I love the cards on that, and that's why that Scott Steiner is still in package. Now, if you're a big Scott Steiner fan and you have multiple Scott Steiner figures from different toy lines, let me know what your favorite one is in the comments below. And also let me know what Scott Steiner attire you're looking forward to most from Mattel. My final thoughts on Mattel's first crack at Scott Steiner is they hit a home run here. The likeness just looks amazing. The accessories he comes with are pretty good. However, it's not over the top. We don't have any shirts or anything like that. We do get the chainmail, we have the sunglasses. I do think this is far away from their figure of the year. Like a lot of influencers are saying, I think they're just hyped up and really excited to finally get Scott Steiner in the Mattel line. But I definitely don't think it's a figure of the year. There will be a figure of Scott Steiner that I'm sure will take that spot in my top 10 figures of the year eventually, but not this year. Regardless, as a huge Scott Steiner fan, I absolutely had to have this figure in hand. I'm very happy I found it at Walmart, and you can get it at Walmart, Target, Amazon even has it. However, it is a little bit above retail on Amazon at the moment. But if you follow me on Instagram at JC_Figs, I will post up whenever it is available for retail on Amazon.com. Or you can take your chances hunting at Walmart or Target. I also believe Ringside Collectibles has this Scott Steiner figure available right now, or it may be on back order. You can also check other sites like EntertainmentEarth.com, and if you shop there, you can use discount code Jcfigz to save 10% off your orders. But Scott Steiner was the first wrestler that my son ever met. He signed our WCW United States Championship belt, so I'm gonna have to move my NWO Bret Hart out of that shelf and put Scott Steiner in his place. Even though this is the 2002 version of Scott Steiner, he's still got to go next to the WCW US title. Overall, I'm gonna give this figure an 8 out of 10. The chainmail is really cool. The likeness is just, like I said, is incredible. Sunglasses look really good as well. The body type looks great besides the small skinny legs. The decal on his trunks look great, and I love the Freakzilla on the back of his trunks as well. So if you're trying to get jacked out of your mind like Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner and you shop at redcon1.com, you want to get some protein, some creatine, pre-workout, any other supplements like that at redcon1.com. You can use discount code Jcfigz to save 10% off your orders there as well. And I will leave my link in the description for Redcon1, WWE Shop, Entertainment Earth, Amazon, Figures Toy Company, and Pro Wrestling Tees. Thank you all for following me, subscribing, liking, and sharing my videos. I really appreciate the support. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time.